Yes, it's me again, and we are going back into surds in the Year 9 series on number. Don't forget, this is GCSE spec, so if you are doing GCSEs or planning to, or you're in Year 10 or whatever, if this is a topic you miss, it's always good to still watch it, so make sure you check this out. Anyway, in this video, we are multiplying and dividing surds, so it's gonna have some trip falls in there, but please make sure you watch my previous two videos on surds before jumping into this one, particularly the first video on the introduction to surds. Really important. If you haven't seen it yet, popping out there right now, go and have a look at that video before you watch this one. Anyway, if you are new here, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you do not miss another upload. It's always a pleasure seeing you here. But without further ado, got to multiply and divide some surds. I'll see you in the lesson. Okay, welcome back to another surds video. And in this video, we are going to be multiplying and dividing surds. Now, if you haven't watched my introduction video on surds, you really do need to go and check that out before you watch this video, because some of the things I'll be saying and the way I'll be working things out, I've already covered in that video in detail. This video is just to move you on. So I'm assuming that you have that knowledge, you know what's going on. Anyway, let's jump straight into it. So on this first one, I'm going to multiply surds. Now, the only thing I'm going to do is go back to the original video and I'm going to remind you of the rules of surds. So if I have the square root of a times the square root of b, it's the same as just multiplying a and b and sticking them into one square root. If I've got the square root of a divided by the square root of b, again, it's the same as dividing those two things and putting them into one massive square root. Or you can also say a divided by b, like so, inside of a square root. That's up to you. So let's jump straight into this one then. So on this very first one, I have got the square root of 2 times the square root of 24. So what I'm going to do is I am going to follow this rule up here. They're multiplying and they're nice and separate, so I'll put them together. So this will become the square root of 2 times 24. That becomes the square root of 48 because of the fact that 2 times 24 is 48. Now, going back to what I did in that original video, now I'm going to talk about what happens here, because you need to give this in its simplest form. This is not in its simplest form because it is not a surd. Okay, you can still get square factors in here. Now, what's the biggest square factor of 48? Well, the biggest square factor of 48 is 16, because 16 times 3 gives me 48. And then now it looks like this. I can separate it back out to that and say the square root of 16 times the square root of 3. And so the answer to this is 4 root 3. And just like that, this is finished. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So we got the 2 times 40 there. So again, obeying that very first rule, I can put them together like so. And that becomes the square root of 80. And again, the biggest square number that goes into 80 is 16, because 16 times 5 gives me 80. And then I can separate it again like that, thereby giving me 4 root 5, because the square root of 16 is 4, and we got the root 5 there. That went pretty fast, didn't it? Okay, same sort of thing with division. You get what's going on here, guys. So I'm just going to literally do 90 divided by 10 in one massive square root, because this rule says I can just take them and divide them together and then do a big square root. So I'm going to do that. And so this becomes the square root of 9, because 90 divided by 10 is 9. And that answer is just going to be 3. And this one is finished. And finally, we have got square root of 18 divided by square root of 200. This is going to take some doing. So let's go. So that means I've got the square root of 18 on top, the square root of the 200 below. And then we crack on with this. Now, 18 has got the biggest square number in 18 is 9, because 9 times 2 gives me 18. So that's 9 times 2. over the biggest square number in 200 is 100. So therefore the square root of 100 times 2. This then means I've got the square root of 9 times the square root of 2 over the square root of 100 times the square root of 2. These two root 2's will cancel out. You probably didn't know that, but it would because you've got two of the same thing dividing by itself. So it will cancel and become 1. And then the square root of 9 is 3 and the square root of 100 is 10. So the answer to this is 3/10. Did you see that coming? Let us know in the comments below what you made of this. But anyway, that brings us to the end of multiplying and dividing with surds. Very quick video. Hope you understand it. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this that comes out as often as I can push them out. Anyway, I will see you on the next one.